Ben Shapiro and many others are desperately trying to recenter your attention away from hating a healthcare CEO. And their purpose here is to say, don't do that. It's actually really bad if you do that. Things are really great. I'm going to move on to the CEO murder suspect. As you guys know, there's more updates on this issue. It's a story that we've been following closely. First, I'm going to start off by covering what Bill Burr had to say. Hold on. Let's close off all these freaking tabs. Okay. Holy shit, we covered so much. Oh my God, I spent the entire day talking about Syria. All right. Let's see what Bill Burr had to say.
About it, that CEO got whacked.
Oh my God, dude.
You know what's funny? I was sitting there reading an article, guy. They go, "Oh my God, he's such a great guy. He had a wife and kids, and he's such a great guy." And then you find out he and the other guys he's working for are getting sued for $121 million for dumping a stock and not letting the other people know.
In the lawsuit, he and multiple other United Health executives are accused of offloading something like 15 million shares of stock.
It's like, there's your motive. Nancy Pelosi just made $9 million on some shit.
Nancy Pelosi's stock trades saw a 65% return last year. This comes as Congress has stalled talks on banning lawmakers from trading stocks.
They're gangsters, dude. Gangsters. And then one of them gets whacked or something. They're like, "Oh my God, he was such a good guy." It's a dirty game, Paul. Healthcare.
He's right. As you guys remember, he had that famous take about there's a guy at Nestle that's in charge of privatizing water. He said a lot more aggressive things than I have in the past. All right? That's all I'm going to say. But he's right. They are gangsters. All right, let's take a look at what happened.
The gunman who shot and killed the CEO of United Healthcare continues this morning. The NYPD has been putting out photos of that suspect last night. They are new pictures here. Eyewitness News reporter Morgan Norwood joins us live from Washington Heights with the very latest at this hour. Good morning.
Hi, Pedro. Yes, police have these new photos of the suspect. They also have what they think is his backpack, a bizarre piece of evidence found inside. I'll get to that part in just a second, but I do want the public to see these photos. It's the suspect in a cab moments after the murder, and authorities believe that he was headed here to this bus terminal here in Washington Heights, where he boarded a bus out of the city. He's wearing what appears to be a different jacket than what we've seen.
Bro, this guy has jackets for days, chat. Also, I don't want to be that guy, but I feel like this is 3 separate guys at this point. Because, like, his eyebrows are different in every photo, dude. This is the 3rd photo. This is the 4th photo we've seen of the guy. And I feel like he just has different eyebrows every time. 2 jacket bourgeoisie. No, he's got, I think he has, like, what, 3 jackets now? 4? I'm saying he packed a lot of jackets. Obviously, he's not constantly going to, like, Kohl's and like purchasing new jackets every day. Came from Georgia, it seems, using a fake ID, a fake New Jersey license, and packed like 8 jackets in the process, and changed his eyebrows too.
In the other set of photos that police have released over the past few days. These photos, though, released after police found that backpack near Central Park's boat pond during their search for the murder weapon and the bike. Neither of those turned up, but sources say the bag had a Tommy Hilfiger jacket inside, along with Monopoly money. It's now being processed at a forensic lab.
I saw someone say this is like finding out about Robin Hood in the 1300s. Like every new update that comes from this guy, I'm like, that's so sick. Now, I don't even know if the Monopoly money is real. Like, I don't know if it's like someone else dropped the bag just as a joke, or if it was the shooter himself who actually planned it like this. But like, why is he so whimsical? Why is the shooter also living a life of you know, mystery and whimsy? Why is he doing these like little bits? It is so hard for me to consistently keep condemning this guy, you know. And as you guys know, I condemn. You know this. I am a condemner, okay? But this is kind of funny. I don't know what he's doing here. He's just doing
Queens. They're
Hawkeye
trying to
shit.
figure out what all of this means, but more importantly, see if there's any DNA that they can pull from there. Meanwhile, NYPD detectives were learning are in Atlanta. They're chasing down dozens of leads and tips there, and they're focusing in on the bus that the suspect reportedly took from there here to New York, arriving here 10 days before the murder on November 24th. Here's what else authorities had to say.
All evidence that's recovered is just showing how we put so much energy and attention to.
Eric Adams has a hat that says Mayor Adams on it. Why is this man still mayor? Oh my God. Thank God. The most competent cops are in charge, everybody. Yeah. They're going to find him. Any day now, they're going to find him. And then Eric Adams can retire to Golan Heights like he said he would.
To this incident, and really anytime someone is a victim of a crime, we don't want to give the impression that we are doing anything unique here. We would do it for any New Yorker, any visitor to the city.
Are we not past 48 hours? Yeah. I think this is a waste of resources. Look, as you guys know, I have long been a small government fiscal conservative. You know this. I don't think we should be misusing funds like this. The NYPD has very important missions, like playing Candy Crush at subway stations, like not investigating the hate crime murders that took place against people. These guys walked up to them and asked them if they speak English, and then they killed one of them. Those are important things that the NYPD is tasked with not actually investigating. They should focus on doing that instead, rather than trying to find this guy. He's like leaving Monopoly money behind. It's just like, I feel like the statute of limitation is gone, you know? It's been 48 hours, it's been longer than 48 hours. And as a small government conservative, I believe in fiscal responsibility, and this is being fiscally irresponsible. This is why I think the New York Police Department should go back to shooting fare evaders instead, which is the fiscally responsible thing to do.
And the mayor going on to say that he felt pretty confident that authorities are, closing the net on this suspect. The FBI is assisting in this investigation along with Atlanta police. They're offering a $50,000 reward, the FBI that is, for tips leading to an arrest. Live in Washington Heights, I'm Morgan Norwood, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
We should be balancing the budget. Anyway, here are the cops searching Central Park. Where's the audio? Oh, why is there no audio?
I'm in front of the Hilton where one of the CEOs of United Healthcare was gunned down. And there's someone here right now that's actually mourning. They're dropping roses. So let's go talk to them.
My prayer for the family.
Was this your family member?
I worked for United Healthcare for 26 years. And then Brian Thompson, he's the boss, he's the CEO. I don't think he knows me, but sometimes we had a...
I don't think he can know you anymore. What is this lady doing?
meeting for the town hall meeting. He's there.
What department do you work in at United Healthcare?
In Connecticut, provider specialist.
What can you say about how corrupt they've been and how much denial of care they've done?
I cannot talk about that because I'm just an employee. It's not my part. I have an insurance too, but all my neighbors, they said United Healthcare is the best.
I would really hate if people started going after all of the CEOs of the healthcare company. What's next? Going after oil company CEOs?
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. We can talk. We can speak.
You think it's sad?
Yeah, I do.
Where are you from?
UK.
Do you have medical bankruptcy in the UK?
No.
We have medical bankruptcy. That's kind of a time-honored American tradition. How do you feel about it, sir?
I think it's kind of up that somebody got shot in the back. Maybe he has a reason.
Well, he wrote deny, defend, depose on the shell casing.
Is that what he wrote?
Yeah. Who's your healthcare provider?
United Healthcare.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you like them?
I haven't used them yet. I don't go to the doctor that often. I mean, do you know how money works? How reinsurers work? And how that all works?
Our lives shouldn't be a for-profit venture. I think healthcare should be socialized. Everyone should have healthcare.
You got to say that capitalism is done.
I could say that.
Capitalism is over because it's based on greed.
You're cooking right
I
now.
don't think capitalism's working. Maybe a resource-based economy. You ever see the Venus Project? Jacques Fresco, the guy's name. You know what that is?
Resource-based economy. I like that.
Kind of what Thomas Jefferson wanted to do. An agrarian, what did he call it?
Oh, agrarian. I guess when you talk to people at the murder site, you can have more nuanced conversations.
What? Bro, he went from like, yeah, United is my healthcare, it's whatever, it's kind of dog, to like agrarian. We got to do Project Venus or whatever the. It's not what I expected. They were not. I don't know.
Okay,
they were not as class conscious as you would assume. But here's Tim Pool. Yesterday I covered Ben Shapiro trying desperately to present himself as, a guy who knows what's up, trying desperately to present himself as, or not even necessarily present himself, but like trying desperately to angle himself and prime his audience, his base of support, into developing opinions on the healthcare shooting that are, still defending the interests of CEOs and healthcare healthcare profits by claiming that it's just the left that's going crazy over this assassination. And it turns out it's not just the left that's going crazy over this assassination. This is like a relatively interesting cultural touch point that has spanned across multiple different ideologies, multiple different backgrounds, age groups, seemingly people of all different ages are demonstrating bipartisanship in these trying times. These trying times when America is far too divided, it seems like they are very united on this issue. But obviously, this is not great for conservatives who want to still, no matter what you do, not get mad at rich people. You have to get mad at others for marginal, not major differences, like just tiny, minuscule, marginal, immaterial differences. Please, no matter what you do not recognize who the real enemies are. Do not recognize that, like, yeah, these guys might not be good guys. My job revolves around making sure you don't understand who the real enemies are. And Tim Pool is doing that as well. Let's take a look.
This is from Mediaite. Taylor Lorenz defends her celebration of Brian Thompson's murder, saying it's natural.
It's natural if you're a demon.
Let me read. This is
Sorry.
These people are mind-blowingly evil and stupid. Former New York Times and Washington Post journalist Taylor Lorenz defended her celebration of the assassination of Brian Thompson. On Wednesday, in the hours immediately following Thompson being shot, Lorenz expressed her dismay with health industry, saying, and people wonder why we want these executives, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to read her full statement. She went on to share celebratory graphics that she said were being spammed in her group chats. It's a picture of a star smiling, and it says CEO.
I love when the free speech guys are like, we should find who those group chatters are and kill them. Tim, have you talked with your fans about this today? Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy because like Tim will, this story has more coverage than my health insurance. This is the same woman that literally cried on a news interview, people calling her memeers on the internet. A rich elite LARPing is one of the downtrodden, spare me. Okay, so Tim Pool's audience is still stupid, it seems. Bro, don't replace the culture war with class war by Alice Thompson. Bro, please don't worry about why you pay more in taxes than billionaires. Worry about the war on Christmas and the trans agenda. Please, bro, stay distracted, bro. It's true. That is exactly what it is. And these guys are tasked with this. This is their job. This is their purpose. This is what they do best. Also, a hit tweet from a moot on Twitter, Tokyo Dilf, with 131,000 likes on this thing. That's what this is. And Ben Shapiro and many others are desperately trying to claw this back. They're desperately trying to recenter your attention away from hating a healthcare CEO or even exhibiting any sort of animosity towards those in positions of power. And their purpose here is to say, don't do that. Please don't do that. Please never do that. It's actually really bad if you do that. Things are really great. Okay? Things are really great. Just hate on the appropriate vectors. Hate on the powerless. Hate on your neighbors. Please.
Down, and she's like, that's just what my group chat's sharing. What group chat are you in, dude? Anyway, unsurprisingly, her
like,
joy
your
over
group
the
chat cannot be
extinguishment of Thompson's
posting
life drew criticism.
dangerous memes like
After
this.
providing some examples of others dancing on
will
Thompson's
throw you in
grave
jail.
while only mentioning one of her many enthusiastic posts, she addressed the backlash, saying, quote, Naturally, the mainstream media began pearl clutching it in outrage after I posted a quote tweet about insurance companies no longer paying for certain anesthesia with the phrase, and people wonder why we want these executives, you know. And then she goes into mention, not being alive anymore. Legacy media outlets, including Fox News, pounced and wrote a slew of articles about my calls for violence. Let me be super clear. My post uses a collective we and is saying explaining the public sentiment. It is not me personally saying I want these executives dead. And I'm not going to read her quote. I'm explaining that thousands of Americans, myself included, are fed up with our barbaric healthcare system and the people at the top who rake in millions while inflicting pain, suffering, and the death on millions of innocent people. So basically, she said, oh, I can't believe that.
Oh, yeah. The image he's talking about is so funny because it's this. Did you guys see the Daily Mail coverage on this? It was really funny where they like slow zoom onto the balloon. Please tell me you saw that Daily Mail coverage. Someone has that TikTok, right? It lives in my mind. It's so funny with the sad music. Please, please, we have to show it. You are not ready for the... Oh, dude, come on, dude. It's got 1 million likes with the sad music. Okay, let's look at the comments. Maybe his family can file a claim with their insurance. 182,000 likes. I like how every news station that reports about it is trying to paint it as sad and no one's playing along. 172,000 likes. People are fed up with the cost of something we are required to have. 46,000 likes. I didn't realize this was Daily News trying to make this sad. The music made this so much funnier. Damn, gone too late. He's looking up at us. Bro, this ain't satire. They tried to truly make this like a sad affair. And it ended up being hilarious, especially the slow zoom after it. We're going to run it again. We got to run it again. Kino is perfect. It's cinema. This dangerous message was left on the site of the shooting. Anyway, let's get back to Tim, who openly has talked about defending Daniel Penny, who killed a homeless man on a subway station. He choked him to death. Openly has shit on George Floyd, who was assassinated in broad daylight by Derek Chauvin, as multiple other officers looked on as he got choked and killed. Tim Pool has celebrated that Santa Claus looking in Latin America that shot the climate change protesters for blocking traffic. So remember, these guys, it's not like they hate political violence. They love political violence. These are the very same people that defend Kyle Rittenhouse. They love political violence as long as it is directed at appropriate targets. Powerless people, helpless people, their ideological opponents. Okay? That's it. When it's someone with, and we've talked about social murder before, but when it's someone who's got a lot of confirmed kills under his belt and they're profiting from it and they are seen as like a legal citizen because that kind of murder is processed and systematized, so it's normal and good and it's done at the behest of the profit motive. When someone like that dies, they're like, whoa, you can't do that.
They're mad at me. I wasn't saying I wanted it to happen. I'm saying I, as well as other people, want it to happen.
You're speaking for all of us.
Yeah, it's
not for me.
Thanks, Taylor. Definitely not for me.
Before we move on, there's one thing that I want to point out though.
I like that there's a skateboard back there, or a snowboard. It says step on Sneck and find out. Like right as these like big brolic alpha dog podcast hosts are talking about how dangerous and how scary it is that Taylor Lorenz is reporting on people celebrating the death of the CEO. They're also like, yeah, we're going to do a civil war and we're going to kill all of our neighbors, dude. Hell yeah, dude. I'm a big dog. That's what big dogs do. They're like, civil war now. And then like one CEO gets shot and everyone celebrates it. They're like, whoa, not like that. I thought you were going to kill your neighbors. Not like actual people in power, dude. What are you, crazy?
The problems that people face with our healthcare system go way beyond insurance. There's no reason for you to need to have insurance just to go see.
Damn, this saying you got to kill more people. That's up. I don't agree with that. Okay. I don't agree with that statement, sir. I do not agree. That's crazy. He said there are way more targets. I don't agree, sir. Please reconsider your position. Wow.
You're a regular doctor for a checkup. Most of the time, most people should be able to afford that. Like, it's not necessary. It's not necessary for things to cost as much as they do. And if it wasn't for the fact that insurance and healthcare is tied to employment, you need insurance for literally anything that you do.
Yeah, he said, don't stop at the CEO. There's no reason to stop at the CEO. He said, chill.
If all these barriers to entry didn't exist, healthcare in the U.S. would be significantly cheaper. So it's easy to point at the big company and say it's their fault, but it's not exclusively the big companies. The big government is in and of itself is directly responsible for a lot of the policies that doctors have to follow that make it necessary to have the big companies and stuff involved in everyday healthcare.
One of the problems I take with the far left,
it's the big government getting in the way of these health insurance companies, even though the health insurance companies are the ones who are writing the legislation. Yeah, that's what we got to do. More deregulation, actually. If they were truly private, it would be even better. They could have a 7% profit margin. That would be, $40 billion instead of a meager $33 billion like United Healthcare brought in. $33 billion in pure profit this past year. $33 billion.
Left is that they implement the government regulations that create the insurance companies' mechanisms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's like, you're so right, dude. The left is always saying like, let's do more insurance. It's a famous leftist position. More private insurance, please.
The insurance companies, of course, have revolving door lobbyists who want to get jobs in the government and then get jobs at these companies. But they're
also leftists. Those are the socialists. Classic case of the socialist lobbyists at big pharma and insurance companies and the socialist CEOs. Except if they were actually socialists, you would be excited at their murder, okay? You would literally be like, oh, this is so sick. Let's kill more socialists, please. So I don't know what the he's talking about.
The angry left saying more government regulations, creating the system that they then complain about and then use to justify death.
To that point, back in the 90s, IBM had 0 lobbyists, and they were proud of that. They talked about it all the time. We don't have anyone in D.C. because they did have the opinion that we don't need to go to the government until the government came after them and said, we're going to sue you as a monopoly. Right. And then they're like,
wait, so lobbying is bad? And the government forced the IBM's hand to do the bad thing, but somehow IBM is not bad? Also, they don't deserve to be busted as a trust? What the is this guy saying? I don't even believe that the IBM did not have a single lobbyist until the 90s. I don't know what the he's talking about. What is this? What ideological framework are these guys operating on? Just like big government equals socialism? Everything that the neoliberal capitalist Western liberal democracy does is actually at the behest of socialism secretly.
Like, well, what are we going to do if we're a successful business? We're just doing business. We make computers. It's not like people don't have the option to go somewhere else, because IBM in the 90s isn't IBM today. Bill Gates was rich, but he wasn't as powerful and rich as he is today. And so they're the only option they have.
Bill Gates? Wait, what? What is he talking?
We're a successful business. We're just doing business. We make computers. It's not like people don't have the option to go somewhere else, because IBM in the 90s isn't IBM today. Bill Gates was rich, but he wasn't as powerful and rich as he is today.
Bill Gates? Does this dumb think? Does this guy? What is going on? He's right. IBM wasn't what it is today. It was the Microsoft of today, but without Apple and Microsoft existing. What? I don't understand. Bill Gates did help with IBM, but he didn't found it. Gates licensed software to IBM. Yeah, but Bill Gates is Microsoft.
And so the only option they had was to get lobbyists, to hire lobbyists, so that way the government wouldn't come after them. So
I was looking at old videos from a few years ago about United Health and their issues, and people were referring to them as like an alternate government because of how big they become. I think that's really interesting. They have more money than JP Morgan. Like it's a huge thing.
That's true, but at the same time, I heard today that their margin is something like 2%. So granted, the dude made,
which is why
it's 6, and that number, that 6% number, first of all, it shouldn't exist. Okay, it shouldn't exist, and also their profit margin is 6%. That happens to be $33 billion. Okay, that's $33 billion. So you could be like, oh, it's just like 2%. Their profit margin is like really slim. Okay, first of all, one, there are a lot of expenses that they bake into that are unnecessary regardless. And two, it's still $33 billion. And not only that, but also it shouldn't exist to begin with. It should not exist. It is a shitty mediator that does not need to exist at all. They provide nothing. Their only service, executive pay is factored into this as well, for the record. But they're a shitty middleman that does not have to exist at all. And it actually ends up driving up costs and offering worse care overall.
They have AI cutting people so they can make money.
You know, the guy that I guess that got killed made like $10 million a year, and it's an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah.
But because of the margin they work on, again, 2%, like that's spending a lot of money to make the money
that big.
And for for CEOs of a company,
bro, these guys are so cucked. Oh my God. 6% is great for a company that makes nothing, money from thin air. Yes, the numbers that they're working with are massive. It's like hundreds of billions of dollars, man. What the are you talking about? You're talking about a company that's overall generating like $500 billion. Okay, what do you mean? 6% profit after executive compensation and numerous other things that they endlessly spend money on is so this is so much money. They're trying to Trojan horse the info. Their audience is clearly hostile now, and they're trying to shift the narrative. I know that's what they've been trying to do for the past couple of days, and I think it's been unsuccessful. Yeah, it's the 4th largest company revenue in the United States of America, the wealthiest nation on earth.
That big with that much of
yeah. By the way, ironic because that's profit after executive compensation, mergers and acquisitions, mass layoffs as well, in order to keep up in order to remain profitable, I guess. But then besides that, there's also a shit ton of money baked into that. For example, for not only lawsuits, but also corporate lobbyists, which this guy seemingly doesn't like. But I guess the government forced their hand to be corporate lobbyists. Stock buybacks, that too. And even then, 6% profit margin. It's crazy.
Revenue, that's actually not, $10 million is not that exorbitant, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare it to other companies of similar size.
I mean, you're never going to tell a leftist that's
yeah, okay, dog. $10 million is not exorbitant in comparison to other healthcare CEOs. Yes, because this guy is only one part of the United Healthcare Group. Okay, yes, there are larger players here. But the notion that it's not that much is so crazy, dude. Holy shit.
Broke. You're never going to tell them that, and they're going to say,
well, they
okay,
blame
yeah,
everybody
right.
else for their problems,
Exactly.
and this is completely unsurprising. I mean, Taylor Lorenz and her ilk are the same kind of people who basically wish death on people who didn't get vaccinated during COVID, and said that it's their fault that she's getting sick and she has to raw dog the air to this day.
Embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
You know, and it's funny that she's kind of getting the brunt of this story, but she is one of the most prominent individuals who has directly engaged in what I would call veiled terrorism.
Yeah.
I say veiled because she didn't literally say.
Taylor Lorenz reporting on people's understandable resentment towards healthcare industry practices and also CEOs is veiled terrorism. Tim Pool gets paid by the Russian government to say Ukraine is the greatest enemy on earth. Tim Pool has openly fantasized about killing his political opposition over and over again, and has had people on his own broadcast so aggressively talked about killing political opposition. Tim Pool himself talked famously about killing people for treason, you know, until Sam Cedar had a conversation with him about how what constitutes for his pay for play scheme with Tenet Media was also akin to treason. So maybe he no longer has that pro death penalty position. Tim Pool famously also had to delete certain parts of his coverage because his guests were getting too crazy. about all the death threats they make on his broadcast.
They go do it, but we all kind of got the gist of what.
Yes, Reuters reporting company sees revenue between 450 billion and 455 billion. Yes, that's why it's almost $500 billion in revenue.
She was saying, right?
I mean, you're dealing with like if you're dealing with people that are, you know, on the edge of society, maybe they have borderline mental illness or something like that, and you're like, saying these things, like they're gonna pick up what you're.
Oh yeah, this is the one I was thinking of here.
Fair that I don't take the heat for what you said, Jesse, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm getting people attacking my character now for having had to take the show down because you made 2 allusions to killing people. So I'm not trying to be a dick right now, but like I've got 500 messages of like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you taking the show down? Are you with us? You're trying to make money.
So I thought YouTube took the show down.
No, I had to take the show down.
Okay.
I had to take the show down because you made 2 allusions within like the span of a couple minutes to murdering people.
Okay.
After I explicitly.
Okay, he's braver than you, Tim. At least he doesn't have to hide his shame with a beanie, okay? He's like, F it, I'm balding, okay? I don't care. Just like you're too pussy to make the death threats yourself.
He stated in the pre-show, do not make allusions to violence.
Why do you have to be like, hey man, please? It's like me when Felix is showing up. I'm like, Felix, please don't say something that people are gonna clip out of context and say I'm anti-Semitic for having you on.
Then went on to explain.
I pre-warn him. I'm like, sometimes you get too spicy with your jokes, Felix.
Keep having people come here and saying they want people killed or people should kill people or they can be killed or things like that. 18 minutes into the show, you had made 2 allusions to, one was the helicopter thrown over the Pacific Ocean. That's kind of like a, we're gonna get hit for that probably, but you know, we'll see what happens. But then you said you can go kill the human smugglers for all I care, and it's just like that's it. Like, it's not a YouTube thing. It's Rumble would take us down for this. I've had the conversations with Rumble about it, and so it's a question of, for the people who are right now, who are slamming me, claiming that it's a big news day, and I intentionally took the show down.
When is Felix coming back? Felix escaped Los Angeles. He was too tired of being called Armenian every day because he's secretly Turkish. So he left the Armenian Oblast of Glendale and went back to New York to get tricked out in the Equinox saunas. He went back to his origin. Yeah. So now I can no longer have him on as a weekly reoccurring guest. I imagine being so fascist that Rumble, the Nazi platform, needs to take you down. Yeah. That's sick.
For fake reasons to make money. No matter what platform we're on, that show would be removed and we would face legal liability. And so the question is, can we have a show if we persist? That show would be deleted and that would be the end of it.
Okay.
So all I can do is say, okay, well, that's it. You know, like I tried.
The transition back to living in New York from LA is insane. I think New York has a lot of benefits, especially if you don't mind the cold. Like New York is kind of sick.
Putting down.
And that's who their base is. Their base, if you look at studies of white liberals, it's something like 2/3 of them have been diagnosed with a mental illness compared.
What? What study, dude? What? Maybe there is one. I don't know. If you look at white liberals, they're all mentally ill. Not us. We're very sane and very normal, okay?
That's white liberals. Compared to white conservatives, it's something like 20 to 25%. So they literally are speaking to a collective group of mentally ill people who would be more predisposed to engaging in this kind of behavior.
Yep. They're hopped up on SSRIs, all types of good stuff.
So yeah, one of the things that really irks me about a lot of these people, well, the left in general, the organizers, the activists, people I've met, they are not stupid people.
No.
They know how finance works. They know how much money it takes to run a business. They're intelligent. They're nihilistic. During Occupy Wall Street, they explained it outright to me. They understand everything that's going on. They just don't think anything matters. So why should they care about you or your life? This is like the Hillary Clinton mentality. I'm smart, you're dumb. I should just make you do things for me. And so it results in really stupid people not knowing how money works. And they say things like, the CEO of this major, this Fortune 500 company got paid $12 million last year, and the workers are only getting 15 bucks an hour. And then I'm like, all right, let's stop. How many employees does that company have? And they'll be like, I don't know, 40,000. All right, let's divide 12 million by 40,000. How much money do you want to give to the employees? Now, I'm not saying it's good if CEOs are.
That's how it works, man. Thank you, Tim. Yeah. It's the liberals and the left that are stupid and don't understand how to run a business. Unlike me, if the company has any sort of financial problems, just get $1 million a week from, I don't know, a foreign adversary currently invading another country to cut out some of the silliest propaganda of all time. I don't understand. It's super simple. Yeah, seek Russian investment. Yep, that's exactly what I learned from my 4-year accounting degree. He's 100% right. Yeah.
Ripping off the company and like doing bad things, selling stocks before investigations or whatever may be happening. But it's like, you're not talking about solutions. You're just saying, I'm mad. And then when we say, here's a solution, you burn the solution and say, I don't want a solution. I want to be mad.
Yeah, because the solution that they actually.
It's a largely true stat about mental illness by party breakdown, but it's entirely an artifact due to the people left of center actually getting medical help. Can't be mentally ill if you never get diagnosed. I mean, yeah. Or you can't be mentally ill if you're not getting vaccinated. That's right. That's what it is.
Actually want is, I want the world, I want a communist.
Yeah, dude was literally being investigated for insider trading too, for dumping stocks. But, you know, fuck it.
It's utopia.
Well, but think about what that is, right? The people who want communist utopia are not saying they want a communist utopia. They're saying, I don't want to do any work and I want to be able to live and just chill.
Yeah.
That's really what they're saying. So I had a meeting today with Ian and a couple of video producers, and we're talking about like, how do we.
Dude, why? What? God, I love hearing right wingers talk about what like they assume leftists want. Yeah. Yeah. As opposed to, yeah, people who are on the left just want to do, I guess, what CEOs do by definition, don't work a lot and just print money. What do you think CEOs do, man? You think he's in the lab cooking up new ways of doing healthcare? No. He's going to the lab to be like, here, let's use some AI. Let's use some AI to streamline these denials. 90% false claim disapprovals, by the way. 90%. It's great.
How do we make movies and shows, and like, what are the cultural moves we need to make? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, these guys are motivated and want to get stuff done. You don't need communism if you're a person who just wants to do work, if you have drive and ambition, because the money comes with the ambition that you have. And it may be, maybe you're a working class guy and you're struggling to get by and it's tough, but your motivation is, I got a family and I'm gonna feed my family. I'm gonna work as hard as I have to do it. You don't need communism. You are gonna do what you have to do. The communists are the people who are like, but I don't want to wake up.
Yeah, I mean,
what are we? What is, dude? You literally do the same thing I do. You have a podcast mic profession, okay? That all we do is sit on our asses and chirp for a little bit. I do it for a lot longer than he does too. I do it for 8 to 10 hours a day. He does it like what, 1 hour, a couple hours a week with his buddies. Like, what are we talking about? Oh, communists just want to sit on their asses and not work. They don't want to work. First of all, the entire principle behind socialism is specifically to, claw back more autonomy from your labor. Okay? Like, what are we talking about? The notion that the entire political movement that is designed around ownership over your own work, designed around labor in general, both historically and still in contemporary society, designed around labor is actually about not working at all. Yeah, you only say that if you're a boss, which Tim Pool is, I guess. And even if he wasn't a boss, he's working at the behest of bosses. And that's precisely the reason why he's saying that. It's like, oh, these guys don't want to work. That's not it. They just want more meaningful pay from the work that they're putting in. They want to have a say in the process. They have a say in the creation, and they want to have a say in the process for that reason, which is perfectly valid. Oh my God. Red Scare propaganda is so effective in this country. It's so goddamn effective. that you have a century worth of material, art, propaganda, agitated propaganda that exclusively centers itself around work. You have so much academic research and literature dedicated specifically to improving the relations that workers have with the means of production. And all of that is nothing in the mind of dumbass Americans who are just like, yeah, socialism was when you don't want to work no more. That's it. That's it. Communism is when the government makes you work hard, and that's bad. But also simultaneously, communists don't want to work at all, but then the government comes in and makes you work by force, as opposed to capitalism where that doesn't happen. Yeah, the symbol is literally tools, but it doesn't matter.
Like, not for nothing, but like I was doing exactly what I do here on Twitter for like 12 years, 13 years before I came and joined.
What do you do, my man? What do these, the elevated self-importance of these idiots is also always fascinating to watch. Bro, you don't do shit. I mean, at least I recognize I don't do shit, right? These guys, on the other hand, they literally are just like, this is what I've been doing for 12 years. I've been posting on Twitter for 12 years. It's like, oh, sick, man. Such useful labor.
Join the crew here, doing exactly the same thing. And even if I wasn't here, you know, every night of the week, I would still be doing this on Twitter because that's what I did before. You know, it's just, this is recreation to me.
And their idea of getting paid not to work would actually make their mental health issues worse. I mean, I think there's inherent value in work and toil and in being productive. And the idea that you would sit around all day doing literally nothing, like the idea that that would give more purpose to your life or make you better off is so backwards.
That's why isolation was so destructive during lockdowns.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. But this is the crazy thing, that for whatever reason, the liberal worldview is work equals bad.
Right.
And I'm like, work is life.
He's like, work sets you free. Everybody knows that. Even in the traditional German. Work equals life. It's the best. Which is why this thing that comprises most of your adult life should be awful, grueling. You shouldn't see any of the benefits of the work that you put in. The CEO, on the other hand, he should receive all the benefits. And more importantly than the CEO, you know who should receive all the benefits? People that simply had more money than you did at a time so they could have ownership over your work. The shareholders. You know, that's who gets to see your profits, your surplus labor value extracted from you. People who have never touched the factory floor or the assembly line. People who you will never meet. This is a wonderful and fantastic structure. I like it a lot. It's really beneficial.
And it's weird that we develop this culture where they're like, whoa, man, your work is your life. What's wrong with you, dude? And I'm like, a guy 300 years ago who grew up with his dad, who was a blacksmith, was not upset that someone came to him and said, I need a new sword. And he was like, I know how to make them. Check it out. And then makes it. And they're like, this is the finest sword I've ever seen. It's like, thank you, sir. It made you feel good, made you feel a part of society. You were useful. And for some reason, over the past several decades, we've developed this like drugged out hippie mentality of like, life should be just like laying around.
Who are they talking about? Also, he is describing alienation. 300 years ago, when someone was a tool maker, they directly touched the tool. And the tool maker had ownership over its own tools to make other tools. It seems automation. It seems as the productive forces. It seems that the productive forces got a little too good. And it made it so that the blacksmith can no longer even own his own tools or even the tools that he makes. Yeah. He's great. He's talking, he's talking alienation.
Down and looking at the sky.
Yep.
What?
Well, they'll be in the fields when they get their utopia of communism.
Oh, they don't get it.
Yeah.
3-Body Problem. Have you guys seen it? It went viral a while ago because it's a Netflix show and it opened with the Culture Revolution in China.
Bro, that shit sucked. The only part of it, the only part that was cool was the Cultural Revolution stuff. I'm not gonna lie, the 3-Body Problem, the Netflix adaptation was like kind of ass. Everyone said everyone says the book is really good. I never read it. You know, I don't read anti-Maoist. I don't read anti-Maoist drivel, but I didn't really like the Netflix show that much. The book is ass too. Okay, well, unsubbing the show is great. First of all, breadsticks. You're not even subscribed. Okay. Broke boy. Secondly, I just didn't like it. I don't know. I thought that it was. I feel like it's a work that's like really hard to properly translate to this medium, especially with the language barrier as well. I don't know if that makes sense.
And it's epic. And because it's so old, I'm going to spoil a bit of it. But you've got this Red Guard woman beating a guy, a professor, for refusing to give him the answers they want on stage. He's got a dunce cap on. Later on, this woman has her hand has been amputated and she's breaking rocks in a field. These lefty communists don't realize. Let me ask you. You don't want to work.
Wait, what? Where are you going? These lefty communists want to do cultural revolution? Is that what he's saying? Or is he saying that like oh my God. Remember earlier when I memed that these guys love saying like lefty communists don't want to work, but then in real existing communism, they get forced into the salt mines. He's literally doing that. His argument, I think, is unironically going to be leftist communists don't even know what they want. If they knew what they wanted, they would understand that like inevitably you're going to have to work in the salt mines by force.
Work? What skills do you have? What passions drive you? Nothing? Okay, break rocks. Because the dude who knows how to program computers, the communists are going to be like, okay, program computers. And then you say, but I just want to like read and do poetry. Break rocks. And they're going to put you in a quarry. They're going to say, do the labor you can do because to each according to their needs, from each according to what is it? From each according to their means.
Ability to each according to
there
their
you go.
needs.
And that means what?
Please go ahead. Explain to me why that's bad. Was like, I want to know what he means.
What are you
why
good
this
at?
is
And
a
what
bad
can you
thing.
do? Okay, well, we'll give you a little bit of food, and the only thing you're capable of doing for the system is going to be menial labor. Congratulations, you've got everything you've ever wanted.
It's interesting that they don't teach the Cultural Revolution in a lot of colleges or schools. Like you grow up, a lot of people don't just know about what happened with Mao. They don't know what happened with Stalin.
Wait. First of all, they don't teach a lot of shit in American schools. I don't know if they don't teach Cultural Revolution, which is weird because they do in China. Like, I think the official Chinese position is that, yes, there were a lot of mistakes. Like, so I don't know who he's talking about. And I assume they teach it in American education too. But yeah, he's like, why would Tim Pool know what they teach in American schools? He dropped out of like 6th grade. Oh, I don't think Tim knows. Tim, see yourself out of this conversation, bud. Yeah, he did. He dropped out of 5th grade, right?
Oh, for sure it's intentional because they want to implement it. And if you know the consequences, you might be afraid to go down that utopian route, you know?
Thanks for checking out this clip.
Nice, man. Thank you. That was sick.